Hi everybody, it's Diana with Stamping with Di. Welcome to my YouTube channel and this week's Mimeograph Monday with a twist. And Christmas season is right around the corner, so I'm going to do a Christmas card. And I had to actually get this stamp set inked up. I hadn't even played with it yet. And it is an awesome one that's in the new mini catalog. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Diana, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm in Santan Valley, Arizona, where it's still fairly warm. It was like 113 yesterday. Oh, we are so ready for fall, it's not even funny. So I'm so glad you are here. If you are new, I am in the chat room, and so that's where you'll find me during the video presentation. If you are watching a replay, then just leave a comment down below, and YouTube will let me know, and I can reach out to you. If you are new, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel, and then that way you'll know when I upload a video, go live, or any of that good stuff. If you have any questions, make sure you holler at me. Today is also the last day of September, and that means it's the end of the, I don't know if it's necessarily called the catalog year, because the catalog's not ending. So it's the end of the Stampin' Up! Year in regards to, you know, earning trips and goals and all that kind of stuff. So if you are looking to place an order, give me a holler because it is the last day of September. Or if you're ready to join my team, I would love to welcome you. And like I said, if you have any questions, make sure you give me a holler. All right, so I am going to adjust my camera for a second. So just close your eyes for a minute while I get everything adjusted. Okay, so hold on. Of it being the last day of the of September, it also is the last day to use my September host code, and that is it right there. If you are ordering less than 150 before tax and shipping, I would love for you to use that code. I did mention I will be changing my incentive starting in October, and I do have a video on that. And then you can also head over to my blog. I'll put more information about that on my blog starting in October as well. All right, so let me set that aside. Now the card I'm going to do is this one right here. It caught my eye immediately. All the different colors and textures of the trees there. So that's the one I'm going to do. And I have my little recipe. Now you can get the recipes on my blog. I have over here at the very top where you can see current catalogs. If you click on that, the recipes are also there. Now those are for current catalogs. So if you're looking at a retired catalog, you won't find them. So it's always a good idea to get that file while it is current. And you can see I've made some little notes here where you know, things, they didn't mention things or they forgot to list them, or sometimes I just didn't see them. So I know embossing powders used, so I just wrote that. They also mentioned that Garden Green Classic Stampin' Pad. But then down here they mentioned Old Olive, so it's not up here. And I got looking at it better, and I agree that it's Old Olive and not Garden Green. So I just kind of made myself a couple little notes. So the stamps that we're using is a Peaceful Season, and it has like a whole bundle going on with it. It also goes with the Peaceful Evergreens, and we're also going to use the gold texture adhesive backed dots. So we have all sorts of stuff going on today, but it has a die that goes with it, and a 3D embossing folder. So it is such a fun bundle, sweet collection, whatever we want to call it. It is just gorgeous. And I always like, oh, I have enough trees, but these are just amazing, so I had to get them. All right. Just like the flowers, right? We always say, oh, we have so many flowers, but then they'll get that new one, and you're like, oh my gosh, I need that one. All right, so I already did a little bit of stuff ahead of time just to save some time. Now, this is our basic beige. This is one of our new colors here. And I ran this through that 3D embossing folder, and it puts that beautiful texture on there. There's the inside. And then this is Pretty Peacock. And then we have Cherry Cobbler and Very Vanilla. So that's where these pieces come out. So it's kind of like you have your detailed writing and then kind of like the bubble, I guess you would call it, that goes over top of it. And I'm just going to put this in my little, I have a tiny little magnet bowl, little magnet bowl I have stuck on my base. It is very, did you hear it go bang while it's stuck to that metal base? Just so that I don't lose these, and then I'll put them away when I'm done. All right, so I'm just going to poke these out, and I'm just going to glue them with the green tip glue. You could use our adhesive sheets if you want. Let me straighten myself up a little bit. You could use these adhesive sheets if you want. We have the foam adhesive sheets, and then it would stick out, but I'm just going to use the green tip glue. So I'm just going to poke these little holes, and that's just going to get the, so don't lose that. That's the dot to the eye. And I'm just using my pick tool. I'm just kind of going up underneath there and just gently work it out of the die. So I was lucky because sometimes they just come out on their own. So I thought, oh, cool, this one stayed so that I could show you how to take it out of the die. And then I wouldn't lose my dot as I brought it over to my desk. All right, so we are just going to bring our little Christmas over and our bubble. Because look how beautiful this is. And you don't even have to put it on the bubble. You could leave it just as it is, but I'm going to do right like that the catalog did. So I'm going to make it as close as I can to the catalog version. So I'm just going to simply put a little bit of green tip glue. And this is just our Tombow. I've just put it in a little bottle. And you can get links to all these things underneath the video or on my blog. All right, and then I'm just going to lay it on the bubble. And it just kind of fits in there where it needs to go. Like that. So now you have Christmas, and it really shows good. You've got that vanilla underneath there. And then I got my little whatchamacallit, the eye. So I want to make sure it's facing the right way before I get my glue. And then I'm just going to put a little dab of glue right there in the center there. And if you lose it, don't worry about it. You can always put a little bling there. And that would look pretty, right? If you put a little bling on the dot of the eye instead of this. All right, so there's that. I'm also going to do some heat embossing with the pretty peacock. So I have my Versamark. And this is why I wrote wow on that recipe there, because it uses the new, it's like, it says wow or whatever, embossing powder. So I'm going to use the gold. Now, I'm not a big gold person, but it is so satisfying when you can see that happy start to show up on the cardstock. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm just going to use my Versamark. We're just going to stamp happy. I'm going to come over. I'm going to dip it or spoon some the gold on my paper. Just tap it off. And it's kind of hard to see there, right? But let me close this because that would be a disaster if I started blowing my heat gun right over top of that powder. All right, so I have my heat gun off to the side. And so watch how this gold just kind of miraculously, like magically it comes to light. All right, so we just got to let this heat up a little bit. I think the gold and the silver is more gratifying than some of the other ones because you can't see them. So look at that. Look at how that happy just shines like. So now you can really see that happy. All right, I'm going to let that dry a second before I start to mess with it. I'm going to bring my vanilla over. That was part of my bubble. And we are going to stamp this greeting with Lost Lagoon. I'm not sure why we use Lost Lagoon. I would think maybe we'd use Pretty Peacock, but hey, it is what it is. I am just doing what I am told. All right, so I'm going to do this in the Lost Lagoon. Okay. And it is kind of like a softer Pretty Peacock. All right. So this should be good and dry. And then I'm just going to fussy cut that out. Easy, easy. Okay. So I'm going to do 2 projects today. So this is the catalog version from the mini catalog. And then I'll do a twist. So this is always a fun series. I hear from you all the time that you enjoy this one. So I love that. And then if you ever want me to do something in particular, let me know. I can't always do all of the requests, but I do make a note of them. All right, so I'm just fussy cutting this out as well. And if it's not perfectly straight, I'm not going to worry too much about it. It is handmade with love. It says right in there, love from our home to yours. Here we go. So let me bring this over. So now comes this part where you can really see these trees start to show, because this is just simply embossed on there with that 3D embossing folder. And now we're going to take the old olive, and I just have some finger daubers. So I have an old olive one, I just have my label maker, and then I have the mossy. And what we're going to do, we're going to just take our little finger dauber, and I'm going to get some old olive on there. And I'm just going to just kind of add that color. And I'm kind of going in a swirl, because if you go like this, you will get these circles. So what should I mean? If you go like this, you'll start getting like circles, and I don't want that look. So I'm going like this, and it just kind of puts that old olive there. It catches the higher raised embossing. Just be careful up there where it's kind of skinny. And it's just kind of a light touch, but it's just adding that old olive because it's catching all those raised areas. Now you could probably do this with a blending brush as well, but like I said, I'm just doing what the recipe says. So as it gets it again up to the top, just kind of go on the side of your little sponge dauber. And it looks pretty even if you didn't add the mossy, just because already that old olive, even though it's one color, you have multiple colors in there, right? Just because it's hitting certain areas more than others. But this folder is so gorgeous. All right, so now I'm going to take my Mossy Meadow, and this is the same color as my car. All right, so we have Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to come over, but I'm going to not do the whole because I just want it to be dark in areas. I don't want to totally cover up my old olive, or I might as well not even have done it. So I'm just kind of, going a couple little here and there. So it's just got some darker little spots. So see, very cool, right? All right. Now, when I was looking at this card in the catalog, I swore when I was looking at it, when I was starting to cut my pieces, I was like, that does not look like a regular size card. But it is. But because this is glued, it's the same height as the peacock. It just comes in. It totally makes your eyeballs see the card differently. Like it made it look tall and skinnier. I'm just using my green tip glue because it's got that embossing on it. And this will get in all the nooks and crannies a little bit better. All right, so we're just going to glue this on here. We've got that little border on each side. And just visually, it just really makes this card look tall and skinnier than a regular card. All right, so I also want my Christmas. I'm going to put my Christmas on with dimensionals. I'm going to put dimensionals on mostly all of this. Now I have the little tiny baby ones, and they work perfect for this. This is kind of skinny, so I'm just going to take here where I have cut a side of that so I can get a skinny piece. I also want it on my love from our home to yours. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm just trimming that. And I like to use it from the whole same pack of dimensionals. That way the height is the same. And then my happy. I've lost me happy. Oh, there it is underneath there. Okay. And then my happy, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put some dimensionals. So we have baby dimensionals, we have mama dimensionals, and then we have black dimensionals, which are perfect when you're using that dark cardstock so that from the edge you can't see the dimensionals. All right, so I'm just going to peel all this off. And this card is almost done. And then we can go to the twist card. And my backings are everywhere. And this one is like clinging to this. Okay. So we have our Christmas. It goes right across here. And then we have our happy. Goes here. And then our love from our home to yours. This has got some really fun greetings in it. And this just goes over here along that edge. And then we're going to put our bling on. So our bling is the gold textured adhesive backed dots. And this just really emphasizes that gold embossing powder. See how that just shines? And embossing is one of those techniques that when I first started stamping, I was like, whoa, what is that? Right? Because it just makes it so professional looking. And I don't emboss enough, really. Like when I do, you know, my Mimeograph Monday with a Twist, that seems to be the most often time I do because Stampin' Up, they like to emboss a lot. So it makes me pull it out, and then it makes me realize, well, why don't you do it more often? All right, so here is the first card. And then now we're going to do the twist. So for my twist, I'm going to do something different with the embossing folder. The card's going to stay kind of close to how it was before, but it's going to look a little differently. So I have my 3D embossing folder, and I'm going to take the same Old Olive and Mossy Meadow, but I'm going to use my Stampin' Right marker. And I'm just going to use it on the side that has the Stampin' Up on the other side of it. All right, and I'm just going to use my marker kind of on the edge. I don't want to color it like this. I just kind of want the marker to catch the edges of the folder as it sticks out. So try not to get it too many places. So I'm just trying to catch those edges where it comes out with my old olive. And if it doesn't catch all of them, that is fine, because it's still going to emboss. It's still going to show that shape, whether there's color on it or not. So I'm just going around like that. So that's my old olive. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the mossy meadow. But again, I'm not going to go the whole thing. I'm just going to kind of go in certain areas. The top. So by using the marker, we're able to be a little more purposeful with our color placement than we could with the dauber when we did it on the paper. And I think that looks pretty good. All right, so now I'm going to take my folder, and I have a little spritzer, and it has water in it. And I'm just going to, off camera, I'm going to give it a couple little spritzes. And that's just going to kind of activate that, you know, in case any of the ink dried. Then I'm going to place my card in the folder and close it. And then I'm going to run it through my machine. Put that lid on there. All right, so that, now let's see what it looks like. So isn't that cool? So it kind of has this wintry look. You won't get the same one twice. I don't think you would if you tried. So let me show you one I did earlier just to show you the difference. So see, they look totally different. So I'm going to use this one that I did earlier because it's dry. Since I wet this one, it's going to take a little bit time to dry because I did use water. If you want it to dry faster, then you can use rubbing alcohol. So I'm just going to set that one aside, and I'll use it later. All right, so now we're going to decorate this like we did before. I kept the measurements kind of the same. I am going to put a piece on the inside this time. All right, so let me glue this. So this is, I tried it on both sides just to see which side, so that's why there's a little bit of green. When I was playing around, I did it on both sides of the folder just because I was like, well, I want to see what it looks like on the other side. So, and then all I'll do is I'll take it into the laundry sink and I'll just wash it really good so that it's clean the next time. All right, so I left the dimensions the same because I liked that little skinny piece of peacock sticking out. But this just looks so cool, I think. All right, now what I want to do is for my bling this time, I did the same cherry cobbler with my Christmas. I did the same happy with the gold embossing. This time I stamped my, look at my little Winston Love. All right, so this is stamped with Pretty Peacock instead, so it's a little bit darker, and then it brings in that Pretty Peacock color. But I also want to do some of these. So these are the iridescent pearls, basic pearls or basic jewels, and I'm going to take my dark cherry cobbler and I'm going to add some cherry cobbler to the little tiny ones. And this is hard on the tip because see, this is why I usually don't use the brush one to color. I always use the other because I like the brush side for flicking and coloring my bling. So I'm kind of hard on the tip. So if you do like to color with the brush side, then you might want to have one marker that you are a little more rougher with and one for coloring. All right, so I have these. Now I'm going to give them just a second to dry. It doesn't take too long. But you want to use the Stampin' Blend because that will dry like fully dry. If you use the water-based ones, it won't. So there's a purpose for each kind of marker. I would not use the blends on the file folder because it's permanent and you would color your file folder. So you want that color to move around. So that's why you use the water-based Stampin' Up markers instead of the blends. All right, so I'm just cutting this out like I did before. Like I said, it's not tons different. It's just going to have a different feel to it. All right, let me cut my happy. Okay. All right. So let's put this together. Oh, before I close my pads, let's stamp our inside. So this is just a smaller piece of the basic beige. I love basic beige because it looks different no matter what color you put it with. It's just kind of this magical color. All right, so I'm going to use the actual stamp set. So we also have a stamp set. So you could even stamp and then do your embossing with the folder. It's just really, really fun. All right, so I'm going to take my old olive and we're going to ink up our old olive. Sorry, all the racket here. All right, so my old olive. And then I'm going to take my Mossy Meadow marker and I'm just going to come in. And this is kind of called thumping. Like if you kind of go like, you know, I'm just adding a little bit here and there. I'm also going to wet this. I'm going to use that little, you know, doohickey again. And we're going to stamp on here. And this is just going to go on the inside of the card. So I'm going to give it a couple little splitter splatters with the water. And we're going to stamp, stamp, and stamp. So it kind of gives us 3 variations of the tree. And then I need to let this dry as well. So we'll let that dry while we finish putting our card together. And that looks really cool if you do that on watercolor paper, because then that water, you know, kind of goes every which way. I'm just letting that air dry. All right, so let's bring our Christmas over. I have like, my hands are like dirty now. All right, so we have, let me get some more like little tiny baby dimensionals. Baby. All right. So I have dirty hands because that ink on the folder, right, it will transfer into your fingers. So just kind of watch what you're doing if you're doing a bunch of those, that you're not getting ink all over, you know, your other cards when you bring it over. So just kind of watch it. All right, I'm going to put that on there like I did before. Okay, so we have our Christmas. It looks kind of cool up there, doesn't it? What to do, what to do. I'll just put it down here. Christmas. And our happy. And then our bling, I'm going to put bling on our trees. And that's going to pull that cherry cobbler into the card. Instead of the gold like we did before, I changed my bling. And I could have colored on the gold ones too, but I have a lot of the iridescent ones. So I just went ahead and colored them instead. I love coloring on the embellishments because, you know, maybe you're all out of something that's cherry cobbler. Maybe we don't sell something in a certain color. Excuse me with my throat. And just use your blends and you can make it be any color you want. All right, so we have Happy Christmas, love from our home to yours. So again, that'll go underneath. Okay. And now let's bring our little blingies over. So we have our little cherry cobbler blings, and they don't look as dark as the cardstock because you've got the iridescent underneath there. All right, so we've got our little blings, and I'm just going to put them around on the trees. So it looks like my trees have like ornaments on them. Now I could have left the iridescents as they were. In fact, let's put a couple just plain ones on there. Let's see what they'll look like. So that looks cute too. So this is just kind of decorating our tree. Little tiny ones. And I already glued my dot on my eye, but this would have been fun maybe to put the little bling on the eye. That would have been cute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there is our odd number. But isn't that so fun? It just gives this different look to it. It almost looks like clay. It looks like you know, clay or whatever. All right, so let's see if this is dry. So this looks like it's pretty dry. And then I'm just going to leave it plain. I could put a greeting on the inside. Where is my stamp? Let's see, let's see. Happy Christmas, love from our home to yours. I'm just going to leave it plain on the inside. Because this way, if I use it as a thank you card, if I use it for a personal card, I can put a different greeting in there if I want. All right. But I love that now it matches. But look how pretty this is if you decided just to do this card with the stamp, right? You could do this with the stamp instead. But I wanted to use that folder because that folder is just, it adds such a really cool texture to that card. But there's the inside. There's the outside. I just love it. All right. So here is the catalog version. And then here is my twist. So very similar, but yet different, right? Different feel altogether. You can really see the textures of this embossing folder on this one, even more than here. And this one, I love both of them, but this one is totally one of those cards that you just have to touch. You just want to go, well, what the heck? You know, this looks so cool. And I think this would look cool too if, let's see, I'm like thinking out of the box here. What if we put, I wonder if I can. Let's see, I might wreck it, right? I'm going to do something. I'm going to wreck the card. That was the one step. That was the straw that broke the camel back. Okay, I'm going to use my shimmery embossing paste. And we're going to see. I'm going to move this one away. Okay, we're going to bring this over. We're going to let it focus while it gets its focus thing going on. While it's focusing, I'm going to stir. Stir, stir. Come on, please. I get too close to the camera and then it like totally messes it up. Okay, so I'm going to see, this might not work. This might wreck this card totally, but I'm going to take some of my sparkly shimmery paste. We're just going to put, you don't see it as much as I was thinking because the basic beige is such a light color. But if I did this on like a darker color, I think you could see it. Let me put a little, that's kind of cool if I put it on my letters. I'm just like, I just love adding the paste. It's like when we did the fall social on Saturday, and I swear every every other card, I put fine tip glue pen, which gave it that sparkle to it. Speaking of which, hang on a minute, I'm going to get that out of there so you can see the M. Speaking of which, I'm going to be showing the projects tomorrow for my Teach Me Tuesdays, as well as, you know, I'll do something else, but I'm going to show you, excuse all the rattling. All right, so that was kind of cool. It's just very subtly there. You can kind of see that there. So anyways, but now I need to let this dry because it takes a little bit for that to dry. All right, so let me say, see you later, alligator. So this is fun. This is totally fun. And yeah. Hopefully if you hadn't got this set, you're like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. That folder is amazing, because it really is. And I love doing that with the pencil on there. If you wanted, you could probably do your blending brush, except the marker gives you a little more control. So you're not, because you don't want to get too much color around. Like if you get color in this flat area, it can transfer onto the card. So you want to kind of, you know, just be careful when you're doing that. But just have fun with it. It's only paper and ink, right? I would say it's not brain surgery. If it doesn't work, you try it again. Because, you know, I tried a couple different ways, and that's the one that I preferred. So anyways, all right, so I'm going to stop blabbing. I will see you tomorrow for my Teach Me Tuesdays. That will be at 3 o'clock Arizona time, same channel. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.